And welcome back to the WHHI Daily News. With me now is Charlie Wentzky. He's a Deputy Commissioner for the South Carolina High School League. So Charlie, great to have you with us. I know this is a busy time. We appreciate you taking a little bit of time. Let's begin with football. You know, high school football, huge, new rules and regulations. You want to go over that for us?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for having me. First of all, there's 5 new rule changes for high school football from the playing rules standpoint. A couple of them pretty basic stuff that people may not even know existed, but ones and number 0 can now be worn by a player on the field. There's also a new rule change that deals with acceptance of or a penalty occurring in the last 2 minutes of either half. The team does not have to accept that penalty anymore to determine when the clock is going to be started. And then you have a penalty that talks about on the defense when we're going to reset the play clock to and what it's going to be, whether it be 25 or 40 seconds. So that just clarifies that. But then the 2 biggest changes deal with the definition of a chop block. The chop block is now considered an illegal block. So if 2 or more opponents or 2 or more players are blocking an opponent, both blocks must be above the waist at all times. So it used to allow for one of those blocks to be above the knee. That's now going to be an illegal block. And then the biggest change is going to see is intentional grounding is been changed in how we interpret that. So a quarterback or a passer is just going to have to be outside of what is the free blocking zone, the lateral boundaries of that, and they did not have to throw the ball into the area of a receiver any longer. The ball is just going to have to get beyond the line of scrimmage. So the big change there, and I think we'll see it kind of really start to pick up as the year goes and next year especially.
Wow, a lot of changes. And Charlie, you know, the officials are the ones that are making those calls. That's a tough job to be an official. And I think there's a need for more officials. And if you want to be an official, what are the qualifications and how do you go about applying?
Yeah, correct. So there's it's got to be the toughest job because you get one opportunity to get it right. There's no replay at the high school level. There's only 5 of them out there on the field, whereas the collegiate ranks, they've got 8 on the field.
Okay.
You know, so there are some limitations in terms of what they can see, and there's going to be moments in the game where they don't have a great angle or a great view for it. And we certainly do need more officials. Our officials we've got great officials for the ones we do have, but we need more, especially in your area. One of our lowest areas in numbers is in the Hilton Head, Beaufort County area, which unfortunately for us, unfortunately for you guys down there, has probably seen the greatest expansion in terms of number of schools in the last 2 decades. So for any one area. So with the growth of schools comes the growth of teams. The growth of teams comes a growth of number of games, which requires more officials. And we're already in an area where we're typically low in numbers. So to be an official for any sport, just come to our website, which is www.SCHSL.org. And there's an officials tab. You can find information on the directors for the sports. You can register as a new official, and if anybody has any questions, certainly just send me an email. We'll get you pointed in the right direction and get you started. But we need more officials, and we need them more in the Lowcountry.
Very good. Now, Charlie, for those viewers that don't really know what the league does for high school sports throughout our state, what is your role? What is your purpose and mission?
Well, we are basically the governing agency. We're the governing office of the South Carolina High School League. The South Carolina High School League is essentially the 220-ish member schools, which includes the superintendents, principals, and athletic directors. So it is really a group. The South Carolina High School League is a group of schools. And if you take time to really understand our process, our group of schools is who makes the decisions of all of our rule changes and or rules and penalties that come with violations of those rules. Our job here at the league office is to enforce those rules and to be as neutral as possible. Kind of like an official would be in a contest. We're here to be neutral and to see it for what it is and hold everybody accountable when they need to be held accountable. So that's what our role is here. If you really want to simplify it even further, think NC2A for high school sports in South Carolina. That's essentially a good symbolic way of saying what we do.
Very good. Thank you so much, Charlie. Have a great year. And this Charlie Wentzky, who is a Deputy Commissioner for the South Carolina High School League. Appreciate it so much. And that's a wrap for this edition of the WHHI Daily News. I'm Robyn Zimmerman. Thank you so much for watching. And if you missed part of the newscast, well, we'll be back in 90 minutes.